If you have a garden hose at home, chances are at some point you've either had a rupture or a puncture in it, maybe you've stepped on it or left it out in the sun and it split, but in any case, your hose isn't usable. Instead of buying a new hose, why don't you just repair it? It is a really simple fix. You can do it in a couple of minutes. The parts will cost you $1 to $5 depending on what you get. And so in this video, I'm going to show you how to repair a leaking, ruptured, or punctured hose. Now, if you're looking for how to repair the end of a hose, just click on the information box up here and you'll go to our video on how to repair a hose end. I'm Monica Hemingway with the Gardening Products Review. Stay tuned for our video on hose repair. So let's start with what you need in order to repair a hose. Now obviously you need your hose with a hole in it, and then you're going to need a repair kit. Now these are available at any hardware store or garden center. They're going to cost you anywhere from $1 or $2 for a cheaper plastic one like this. This one's going to run you a little more because it's metal, and this one's going to be somewhere in the middle. When buying any of those repair kits, one thing to keep in mind is the diameter of your hose. All right, they do come in different diameters, anything from a 1/2 inch to the more typical 5/8, and you'll even find 3/4 inch hoses. For most hose repair kits, you'll need to get one that says it's specifically for the size hose that you have. So you're going to read on here and say, like this one, it says for 5/8 inch hose. Okay. If you get the wrong size, return it because it's either going to be too big or too small and it's not going to work properly. The other thing you're going to need is something to cut your hose with. Now, if this is a thinner, maybe a 1/2 inch hose, a pair of scissors might work. I find that that's only for the lightweight hoses. I typically use a pair of pruners. These are bypass pruners. Don't try it with anvil pruners. It won't work very well. If this doesn't work, then the thing you turn to is a utility knife or box cutter. I know some people use a hacksaw and a miter box. The reason they do that is you want to get those cuts right at 90 degrees through the hose. If you don't do that, the chances of leaking increase. So whatever you're doing, make sure you try to do it straight. So let me find the leak. Okay, it's right there. So if the puncture is right here, so I am going to cut about 1 inch on either side of that. Again, I've cut at 90 degrees, and I'm going to go about 1 inch on this side as well. Get rid of that part. Okay, so now we have 2 ends to a hose. Whichever mender kit or repair kit you use is going to go in between those. And they all have one part in common, which is this piece in the middle. That's going to slide inside both ends of your hose like that. Now that's not always really easy to do. So here's a little trick for you. If you can't get it in, get a bowl of boiling hot water and soak the end of your hose in there for a few minutes. That's going to soften up the hose, make it more pliable, and it's going to be a lot easier to get this insert into the end of the hose. So I'm going to put these 2 ends in here for a couple of minutes, and then we'll come back and start the fix. The first repair kit I'm going to show you is this one. It's plastic. These also do come in metal, and I recommend the metal above the plastic because it does last a lot longer. The downside to the metal is it's a lot heavier than this. So if this fix is going to be somewhere in the middle of your hose, go with metal. If it's near the end where you hold it to water with, then you might want to go with plastic. So the first step is you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver, and you're going to unloosen the clamps. I generally don't like to take them all the way out because I've been known to lose those screws, but depending on the thickness of your hose, you might have to take the screws out all the way. And then the other thing I'm going to do is cut it off this piece, right? This you don't need. Now, this is from Gilmore. It just happened to be a cheap one that was available, and it does have on the back instructions. They're tiny. You probably need a magnifying glass to read it, but it does have instructions for how to do this. So here you go. You've got your center insert and your 2 clamps. Put the clamp over the hose first, one on each side, and then you're going to put the insert in the middle. Now this is always the hardest part, at least I find it is. So you want it to go in all the way. Okay, and then you're going to do the same on the other side. All right, there we go. One thing to keep in mind with these types of clamps is that if you have a really heavy-duty hose, premium rubber, contractor grade hose, these clamps might not be big enough. So this kind of repair kit might not be an option, so keep that in mind. And then you're going to slide this. You might need to loosen the screws a little bit more. You're going to slide this all the way up. Okay, so you're going to loosen the screws up a little more. You might have to, and I think in this case I'm going to have to take it apart and get it all the way up to the center part there, and then you're going to tighten the screws. And don't tighten one all the way and then the other one all the way, because you're probably going to find that you actually can't get the second screw in. So do a little bit of each screw until they're both tight. And then you would do the same thing with the second half. And there you have it. That's the first repair kit complete. This shouldn't leak now, so I'm gonna go test it to make sure. But this is a pretty common fix. Now, one of the downsides to this is if this hose is on a hose reel or something like that, this is kind of bulky and it could get in the way. So there are some other options as well to repair your hose that take up a little less space. So I'm going to show you how to do those. So my favorite hose mender kit is this one. And it's really simple. It's got a middle piece just like the plastic one we did, and it's got these two clamps. And these are pretty cool. So you're going to want to open them up first, loosen them. So you do that by turning it to the left, and as you turn it to the left, the clamp opens up. If you turn it to the right, it would close. So we're simply going to slide those over the ends of the hose, just like that. And then this piece is going to be inserted in the middle. Now, don't forget that trick. If you have a hard time getting it in, and often it is hard, you can soak the hose in hot water to make it more pliable. So once it's together, you want to get it as close as possible. You're going to move these clamps up to the center like that, not all the way at the very edge. You want them just a little bit away from it, and you're going to tighten them up. So you're going to turn the screws to the right, just like that. That's one, and then let me tighten up the second one. So there you have the two clamps tightened up around it. One of the reasons I really like this repair kit is that it is lightweight, it is low profile, and I'll show you in a minute how you can make that happen. And it also, because you can tighten these things down really tight, there's less chance of leakage. And if you have a thicker hose, again, that contractor grade or premium rubber hose, these clamps are going to fit, unlike some of the other repair kits. Now you might be looking at this and thinking, I don't want this sticking out in the middle of my hose, right? That's going to get caught on stuff as I pull it across the lawn or the driveway or whatever. And that's true, it is. So here's the solution. I use this. It's Scotch Super 88 vinyl electrical tape. It's a really nice quality electrical tape. And make sure the hose is clean before you put this on. And you're simply going to wrap this around the hose and around those two clamps. And what this does is it makes it a nice smooth surface, so it's not going to get caught on things. Those clamps sticking out aren't going to get in the way. And this tape, it's pretty weather resistant, and it's going to last you probably through at least one season. So you can always replace it. It's a lot cheaper to replace a bit of tape than it is to replace an entire hose. So as you can see, there's nothing sticking out now. It's a nice smooth surface. It's not really going to get caught on anything. And that's all there is to it to repair a punctured or leaking or ruptured hose. You can get the parts for just a few bucks. It'll take you a few minutes and your hose is as good as new. Thank you for joining me and watching this video. If you liked it, I hope you'll subscribe to our channel. There's a button right down here. We're here every week with more tips and reviews on products for your yard and garden. You can also check out our website at gardeningproductsreview.com. We've got tons of reviews of tools that are used in the yard and garden, as well as more videos. See ya!